Hey everyone, welcome back to Cars Info. Today we are taking a full deep dive drive-through of the 2025 McLaren 765LT, the street-legal longtail that still feels like a factory race car let loose on public tarmac. Even though production wrapped earlier in the decade, the car's scarcity and performance mean it remains hot news in 2025, so whether you're researching a purchase, planning content, or just love extreme engineering, settle in. First, quick background so we are all on the same lap. McLaren created the 765LT as the most hardcore evolution of its 720S supercar. The LT badge, short for longtail, comes from the famous endurance racing F1 GTR cars whose stretched bodywork improved high-speed stability during 24-hour battles. Every modern LT follows that spirit: less weight, more downforce, quicker responses, and a driver-first cockpit. Production of the coupe was capped at 765 units worldwide, and McLaren later matched that run with 765 Spiders, so total global numbers are tiny. Cars were effectively spoken for at launch, which is why you'll hear people refer to the 2025 765LT, even though you can't spec a new one today. We're talking about the cars that now circulate through collections, dealers, and the performance resale market. Limited build, race-bred upgrades, and the final flourish of the 720S era all feed collector demand. Condition, mileage, and specification have huge impact on value. Visually, the 765LT makes its mission clear. The front ride height sits lower than a 720S, and an extended carbon splitter leads the charge, channeling air under and around the nose. Louvered front fenders vent high-pressure air from the wheel wells, slicing lift over the front axle, and revealing tire tops like a GT racer. Sculpted side blades carve airflow toward the intercoolers and turbo intakes. Long rocker extensions visually stretch the profile and help manage underbody air. Out back, the tail grows with a lengthened rear deck, a taller active wing, and a deep diffuser that works with the flat floor to generate roughly 25% more downforce than a 720S. Quad high-mount titanium exhaust pipes punch straight out of the rear bodywork, instantly telling anyone behind you that this is no regular McLaren. Weight saving is everywhere you look. Extensive carbon fiber body panels, thinner glass, optional polycarbonate rear screens, super light forged wheels, titanium hardware, and reduced sound deadening all pull mass. Depending on spec, dry weight can dip near 2,700 pounds. Even in real-world curb trim, most cars come in dramatically lighter than rivals carrying similar power. Less weight means better acceleration, better braking, and that alive feeling when the suspension has less to control. Pop the dihedral doors and the cabin tells the same story. Exposed carbon tub surfaces stand proud where other exotics hide structure behind padding. Door cards are wafer thin. Many cars swap door handles for pull straps. Alcantara dominates touch points to grip gloves and shave grams. The optional fixed-back carbon Senna seats are near sculptural shells that hold you like a race harness. Comfort is secondary, but lateral support is outrageous. Some owners spec the slightly plusher comfort buckets, trading a few pounds for mercy on longer trips. Either way, you sit in a purpose-built cockpit that broadcasts performance first. Driving position is superb. You sit low between the sills, heels almost level with your hips, steering wheel close, sight lines surprisingly open thanks to the teardrop glass house carried over from McLaren's monocage carbon architecture. Ahead lives a digital instrument display that can flip into a slim telemetry-style strip in track mode to reduce distraction and put revs front and center. The portrait-oriented central screen handles navigation, audio, climate, and chassis settings. The interface is functional rather than flashy, but onboard data logging and camera integration let you review laps and overlay performance metrics after a session. Toggle switches on the console split powertrain and chassis modes, so you can mix street-friendly damping with aggressive throttle mapping or go full send when the track marshal waves you out. Let's open the engine bay. McLaren's M840T 4-liter twin-turbo V8 gets a raft of LT upgrades: forged aluminum pistons, a higher-capacity fuel and oil system, a multi-layer head gasket derived from the McLaren Senna program, revised mapping, and freer breathing through that ultralight titanium exhaust. Output lands at 765 metric horsepower, about 755 SAE horsepower, backed by 590 pound-feet of torque spread across a fat mid-range. A 7-speed dual-clutch seamless shift gearbox with a shorter final drive than the 720S snaps ratios with authority and keeps the turbos lit. Pull an upshift paddle at full load, and the shove barely pauses. Drop gears under braking, and the system fires rev-matched blips that echo off pit walls. Performance numbers remain savage in 2025. Factory claims put 0 to 62 miles per hour in 2.8 seconds, 0 to 124 in just over 7, and the quarter mile under 10 seconds given surface and launch. Independent instrumented testing has seen low to mid 2-second 0 to 60 runs and drag strip passes dipping below the 10-second mark on prepared surfaces. Top speed hovers around 205 miles per hour, limited more by aero drag from all that downforce than by raw power. What impresses most is in-gear acceleration. From a rolling start, the 765LT lunges like a leader bike, ripping past traffic gaps you thought were generous and turning long straights short. Chassis tick is equally serious. The proactive chassis Control 2 hydraulically cross-link suspension from the 720S is recalibrated with lighter mainsprings aided by secondary helper springs, delivering roll control without punishing ride. Ride height drops roughly 5 millimeters, and the front track grows slightly, sharpening turn-in. Steering remains electro-hydraulic, rare in today's electrically assisted world, and that pays dividends in feel. The wheel chatters information about grip long before slip becomes drama. Carbon ceramic brakes are standard, and you can spec the even more robust Senna-sourced track setup. The active rear wing also stands on edge under braking to add drag and stability. Driver-adjustable handling and powertrain dials mean you can tailor response for street dampers with full power or lock everything down for circuit work. So what does it actually feel like when you push? Testers have consistently called the 765LT explosively fast, yet confidence-building once you learn to trust the chassis. Initial turn-in is razor-sharp, mid-corner balance is neutral so long as the tires are up to temperature, lean on throttle and the rear will rotate progressively, helped by that shorter gearing, and the stability calibration that works with, not against, skilled inputs. On bumpy canyon roads, the suspension breathes with the surface better than its track focus suggests, though expansion joints still register. Track time reveals how quickly heat builds in the braking system and tires, so disciplined cool-down laps matter. Get the rhythm right, and the car flatters advanced drivers while leaving plenty of headroom for pros to chase lap records. There are compromises, and you should know them if you plan to daily or road trip your LT. Cabin noise is high because insulation was sacrificed for weight, stones ping wheel wells, and the exhaust drones on some highways. The Senna seats can punish backs on long drives and make ingress tricky if you are tall or less flexible, though harness cutouts are great for track days. Footwell space is tight and storage almost non-existent. Bring a soft helmet bag. Brake pedal effort is race car firm. Light casual stabs don't bite hard until you recalibrate your leg. Cold tires plus big boost demand respect. Give the car heat before asking for full throttle. If you accept those trade-offs, the reward is immediacy few street-legal cars match. Let's talk money. When new US-based pricing landed roughly in the high 300s for the coupe and just over $380 for the Spider before options. McLaren special operations, personalization, exposed carbon packs, track brakes, harnesses, ultralight wheels, bespoke paints, and interior themes routinely push sticker totals into the mid-4s and beyond. Because production was capped and demand from collectors remained strong, depreciation has been shallow compared to volume exotics. A well-optioned LT with documentation can still command eye-watering money, and provenance matters. Original spec sheets, paint protection, and low owner history all add weight when a buyer wires funds. Let me give you a 2025 market snapshot so you have real numbers. In the US, we are seeing coupe listings with mileage under 10,000 showing in the mid $400,000 range at major exotic retailers, while pristine, ultra-low mile, or heavy MSO specification cars stretch well past the $500,000 mark. Spider examples nearly always price higher. Recent dealer asks and marketplace data show low-mile Spiders clustering between 520 and 580, with a handful of halo dilds pushing towards 600. Auction results so far this year confirm buyer willingness to pay premiums for color, carbon, and documented service. Remember, mileage, service records, film coverage, and honest track use disclosure swing values. Regional supply matters. Coastal dealers in California and Florida ask stronger money than inland stores, especially for color and carbon options. If you're shopping, here are smart inspection moves. Verify annual service stamps and software updates at an authorized McLaren retailer. Interval neglect hurts value. Inspect the carbon tub and lift points for damage from improper jacking. Check the leading edge of the splitter, rocker under sides, and rear diffuser for scrape repairs. Confirm nose lift operation. Scan for fault codes in the active suspension. Inspect tire date codes and budget for fresh Trofeo RS if the car has sat. Grip falls off with age. Review brake rotor wear and measure pad thickness, especially if the car saw track duty.